pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any additions to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, we're going to have to wait for the consent agenda. We have some more commissioners' warrants coming down in a warrant package. They're trying to get a few add-ons done from the Sheriff's Department, so if we could delay that, that would be great. At 9:45, please add Bill Folger, IT Director there. He's going to recommend a contract extension for Dark Trace for 48 months, and I did add that to your packet. And on other business, let's add, please, District 8 county report questions for the meeting on Thursday. See if anybody has any input of items we want to talk about over at the District 8 meeting in Slayton on Thursday. So District 8 county report questions.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman, right now.
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Support.
Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And move on to Nick.
Dan gave a thumbs up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, first up for me today, I have a couple project updates. The first update would be 2021 box culverts contract number 4 with R&G Construction. We awarded that at the last meeting. Next update would be our 2021 overlays. The paving is complete. They're just wrapping up the shoulder work, and we need to stripe it yet. Otherwise, that project is pretty much complete. And that's it for project updates. Next up, I have some right-of-way payments to approve. It's on our County Road 56 south of town here. Nothing unusual about this one, just another straightforward one. As you can see, it's pretty small, $105 amongst 4 different people. So,
Mr. Chair, move for approval.
Second.
Okay, moving second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next up, I have a request for board action to purchase a half semi-load of crack sealant for $11,700 from Brock White. We got 2 quotes there. We didn't get as far as we wanted on what we had, and we'd like to get the roads. We're gonna seal coat next year. I'll crack seal ahead of that, get them sealed up good. This is something that our state aid account will pay for, so no levy impact to it, but they can get us the material, so that's good. You know, it seems like everything else nowadays is kind of hard to come by. So,
Move for approval.
Okay.
Support. Crack cutter works too good, huh?
I guess.
Making them too old.
Okay, any other discussion? And all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Then I just put on here again, follow up to the annual report. I know we briefly touched on it at the last meeting, but I said I'd bring it back again. So anybody else have any other questions on our annual report? Now you've had a little more time to look at it.
Okay.
Then next up I have an LRIP update, and it doesn't look like either Pipestone or Edgerton got approved for the grant. Looks to me like, if I'm reading it right, they just didn't score high enough. It's not that they weren't eligible. It's other projects scored higher for whatever reason. It didn't go into detail on that. So,
Do you know if any projects in our area were funded, or?
I didn't look. I just looked for the two that I knew we had on there.
Sure.
And that's kind of where it ended for me. It wasn't really sorted.
Like by district?
Right,
Okay.
right. It was just, I just kind of went down the list, and whenever I saw, Pipestone County, those are the two I looked at, so.
Sure.
So I don't know what to tell you there. I think there was a map, if I remember right, with little, like dots of where they all were, but I don't know how big of projects or anything. It just wasn't us, so I guess I moved
Just
on.
always curious, if they're all
If it's all-
clustered up in the metro
Yeah.
or.
Like, what was that other one? I can't remember what. Corridors of Commerce, right? Was that the one where the one was in Metro and the other bordered Metro?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it turned out like that or not. I don't think so. I think there was a number of grants. I'm sure it spread out a little bit, but.
Okay.
Next up for me would be maintenance updates. Over this past month, we've been doing a lot of maintenance graveling, a couple culvert replacements, and a lot of crack sealing. So that's mainly what we've been doing the last month, and then upcoming, there's some shouldering work we need to do. County Road 9, County Road 18 in Edgerton, seem like they always need it. I know we had talked about that earlier, so that's on the list. We'll start working on those. And we're going to start with our spraying too. So probably see our spray truck out and about coming up here. So, that's all I have for right now. We have a fuel bid opening at 10:15, but that has to wait till then in case something comes in the mail. So, anybody have anything else for me right now? Otherwise, I'll.
Mr. Chair, I was just curious, is the sign truck up and running?
The new one?
Yeah.
That won't be in until October.
So I was wondering, because I still seen the old one bopping around, Trevor and that, so.
Yep. No, we're still using that one. The new one, last we heard, would be October for it to be in. So I think the truck's done and sitting at the body place. We kind of got two things going on there. We got to get a truck, and then they just send that with an empty chassis to the other company that puts the box on it. So,
I missed that. What kind of truck?
Sign truck?
Sign truck, okay.
yeah, we ordered
I
this
see.
before you were on.
Okay.
Just takes forever to get.
Things happened before I was on?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I didn't really think to update you on that. So we ordered a different sign truck, but it just takes forever takes a long time to get the truck, and then after you get the truck, then they can start on the box, and yeah, long process, but
It'll be nice when it's done.
yeah, it'll be like Christmas. We'll kind of have forgotten about it by the time it shows up, I think, so be a surprise all over again, but yeah, so I guess that's all I know about that for right now.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll be back for the bid opening in about an hour, so.
Rick, I've got one question for you. We're working on our Casey Jones Trail, and there's a couple spots where we could use some culverts. Do you have any salvage culverts at all in your inventory? Probably either 24 or 36 inch.
You looking for metal or concrete?
Either, probably preferred concrete, but whatever you've got.
I don't know what we have right offhand. I can check though and get back to you.
Oh, that would be fine. Yep, just keep it in mind if you run across something. That would be great.
Yeah. Sounds good. I will look into that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Now, we'll see you at 10:15.
Yep. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, see you later.
You have any personnel?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just a few hiring updates and announcements. Some require action. So I do have an official retirement date for Jim Lustfield, and if you remember, we hired 2 people in anticipation of him retiring. So he is going to be done on July 8th of this year. So I do need board approval to accept his retirement and resignation.
Mr. Chair, move for approval.
Second.
Okay, moving second. Any discussion? How long has he been with us?
It's either 30 or 31 years. I'd have to go back and look,
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah. Yep,
I'll certainly give him our best.
absolutely, I will.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then we do have a another resignation in the highway department. Spencer Jurgensen is resigning effective June 13th. So I do need approval of his resignation. He's just moving on to another opportunity. And we are currently advertising already on the website for that position, so.
What position is that?
Highway maintenance work?
Highway maintenance worker, yep,
Kathy, what was his date?
June 13th.
June 13th, thank you.
Yep.
Do we need to act on that also?
Yes, please.
I'll move that.
Okay,
Second.
moving second. Any discussion?
How long has he been with the county?
I think only about a year and a half.
Oh, less time, much less time.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Dan, give the thumbs.
Yep. Thumbs up.
Oh. And then so if you remember, Chris Schultz was our part-time jailer that was promoted into a full-time deputy position. So we had a part-time jailer dispatcher opening. And we have made an offer to Jared Hovdesven. Sorry if I butchered his last name. It's Hovdesven, starting today as a part-time jailer dispatcher on step A of the pay plan. So that's just more of an announcement to you guys that we did get that position filled as well. So.
Awesome.
And then we're currently going to be interviewing next week for the Deputy Auditor 2 position, and then the Building Grounds Maintenance Worker position is still open as well. So that's still on and advertising.
Were there quite a few for that?
So far I think we have 3, but it just opened last week, so.
For the deputy auditor, were there quite a few?
Oh, we had 9 total. Yep, we're interviewing 5.
Okay.
So, yep.
A pretty good selection.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's all I had for the recruiting updates.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
all right, thank you.
The ARPA funding resolution.
Mr. Chairman, you have in your, and board members, you have in your packet draft resolution for the county accepting the ARPA funds from the federal government. I'd viewed a webinar on this through League of Minnesota Cities, and they recommended that counties and cities do an actual resolution to accept the funds. So following their lead, we will be getting, as it states on there, $1,772,619, of which 50% of that has already been deposited in our account already. So just a matter of pretty much crossing our T's and dotting our I's and accepting the money. So if our auditors or the government questions it, that we took action on it, officially accepting the money. So request that this resolution be approved by the board.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve the resolution.
Okay, moved.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 And opposed? Motion carries. Um, District 8 report questions?
Mr. Chairman, as you're aware, I think all the board members received an email from AMC requesting input on 2 questions. They're modifying their format this year, I think, otherwise it's going to take forever to get through everything. So AMC wants to spend more time giving us information. So there's really 2 questions that AMC is asking the counties to report on when they do their county-by-county meeting on Thursday, or sessions. What I did is I chose to jot a couple things down myself, and I also sent it out to all our department heads too to see what's actually going on in their departments. I've heard back from 3 of them so far, and I'll share that information with you as well on it. And just wanted to get your input on it too. And one of the things that I put down on their biggest challenge going forward is, and this affects Kathy and HR, but I put down finding qualified candidates for job openings in our county, where public expectations keep going up. We have roads that need plowing. Verizon, we're using the Verizon locating system, so Nick is able to find out where his vehicles are, so we don't have that. And also, part of the qualified candidates is we don't have a growing population base here, so finding candidates, and I'm totally ecstatic that we got 9 applicants for the Deputy Auditor 2 position as well, and they're interviewing 5 out of that. That's good to see. But and I think Kathy can probably attest to this, it's harder finding good qualified candidates for jobs. And, unfortunately, without a growing population base to draw from, obviously we'd hope more people would move here to take jobs if they can. Obviously, we'd like that. But I did talk to Nick about it, and the comments he made when we talked the other day were the public expectations are going up on roads and what people expect, not necessarily what reality is, but what the expectations are. And he specifically noted that plowing is one thing that comes up all the time. And one of the things that they have done is entered into that contract with Verizon to put the AVL locators on their vehicles so they can tell if roads are plowed and find out where they're at to help them do that. So that's a couple things that he reported on. Kyle Keir got back to me on it, and looking back at, the question was looking back at changes in work department operations in the last year, what do you see as long-term changes in your department? Kyle responded back, emailing board packets to Planning Commission and Board of Adjustments, emailing of permits to landowners, increased electronically submitted applications, so they're embracing the electronic side of it. And one of the biggest challenges he put down going forward, he sees funding as one of the future challenge. With the multitude of grants and funding sources the Environmental Office receives every legislative session, these sources are susceptible to change. So he was, sees that as a not just a local change, but also as a state level change too as well from as we move forward. Other ones I had here, Sheriff Freeman responded back, looking back at changes in work department operations. He said, not many. We do not respond to all ambulance calls anymore. For just a sick individual, we will not respond unless requested or it's a known person that would cause trouble. Same with false 911 calls. We used to respond to all with COVID. We quit responding if we made phone contact, and will likely continue that as they move forward. And his biggest challenge going forward is what I've already mentioned, trying to hire people and keep all of our shifts covered. So he's saying it as an issue getting bodies as well. And heard back from Renee, and things that she's doing in her department is she's responded back that she's maintaining cleaning surface after she meets with each client. She can also see virtual conferences and training to become more prevalent in the future. So Zoom and those meetings aren't definitely going away. And biggest challenge she sees going forward right now So they don't really see any major challenges. Our veteran service organizations at the regional offices are starting to open back up. With them opening, it will make it easier to contact our representatives to get assistance needed from them and our clients. So the state is opening things up, so it's going to be easier for her to get information that she needs for working with her clients and claims. So that's what I've heard back so far.
Did anyone else have anything they wanted to potentially add, or as far as long-term changes to the county based on how things have been the last year? Or?
We talked about it a little bit beforehand, but the change in wage rate, are we gonna be behind the ball if we do it only once a year? You know, if it's $15 to work at McDonald's.
Well, we just did a wage study not that long ago.
And we did it,
Years ago, wasn't it, Kathy?
We
And it was-
implemented in 16, yeah.
and it's 3-year contracts, I understand that, but, you know, are we gonna have to be flexible on that at some point in time?
We don't have any that are that low, though, do we?
Well, I don't have the data right in front of me, but, I mean, yeah, that's something we're gonna have to keep an eye on. for
Yeah, I
staying
don't mean any
competitive.
action right now, but just,
Especially for like the hard to fill positions like
Mm.
Steve's
Mhm.
talking about. We're gonna have to make sure we're staying,
Competitive with others.
yeah, for sure.
In fact, I think they have, AMC mentioned they have the latest wage study online. I know both of you are able to access it.
how far a lag does that have, Steve, would you guess? 6 months?
It's current
It's-
wages.
But it-
It's current for '21. I mean, it's as of January 1st,
Yeah.
primarily, the first of the year.
so that's 6 months for us now already.
So, and remember that we bumped our overall salary 3% for '21. And we're locked in our contracts for 2.5 in '22 and 2.5 in '23 as well.
Right.
And I think most of our starting wages are 19, somewhere in that range, I think, aren't they?
Well,
So I guess shouldn't say that they vary.
dependent on the position, so, but yeah, and then there's also steps too.
Mhm. And benefits, I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
We should
Right.
be good
So-
on benefits and things like that, so.
But yeah, we need, like the steps is around 2.5% as well, in addition to the cost of living adjustment. But there's a limit to that too. Once you top out on the steps, then you no longer get steps either, so. Then you're just getting cost of living adjustments
Mhm.
after that.
And we have, what, about 10 steps, or?
We have, 12 steps, so it takes 11 years to get to the top.
Are you guaranteed a step a year, or is that,
It's based on,
subject
it's
to-
performance based, but
Subject-
it's just you either get it or you don't. It's not like a, sliding scale. Yeah.
It's not too often that somebody wouldn't get,
No.
so
so it's
almost.
almost,
Yep.
but I just think that we have good employees and we should
Yes, we do.
Maintain that.
maintain that.
Right.
Somehow. If we have to do it with COLAs or whatever, you know.
Right. Does anyone see any other large challenges for us going forward? Other than finding workers?
Nick had brought up an idea to me, and I haven't taken it any further than this, but he talked a little bit about flexible scheduling, being able to do, in some positions, do like work hours adjustments where, you know, one day you come in later and you work later, or maybe you come in earlier, that type of thing. And some of those types of things that gone any further than just a quick discussion on it, but that might be something to take a look at too. 'Cause obviously, we want to make Pipestone County a good place for people to work and continue to work here and, you know, be valuable assets, because we will have a lot of people retiring in years to come, you know.
One of the places where that would work is snow plowing. You know, if somebody wanted to come in early and go out early and quit early, you know. that. I brought it up one time and Nick said, well, the unions won't allow that. I said, okay. But I know like Dave and
That
Ed.
can be a barrier to change.
Yes, it is, yeah.
That can be a barrier to change, is the union contracts.
Right.
Well, for snow plowing, don't they have to go out when it snows? Regardless of when, pretty much?
That's kind
They
of
have to wait
dictated by the supervisor.
They have to wait till somebody tells them to.
Oh, right.
Dave and Edgerton, I'm sure there's some days he would like to start at 4 o'clock and quit at noon, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the city does that, they plow early and they're done
Right.
by noon and they're to go home, you know? Which works out handy for the city, because
Yeah, they do that here too. And it's handy for residents, frankly.
well, those are the major complaints I've gotten since being on, is snow removal. But part of that is carryover from township days when we have a lot of people moving out to the country that forget it snows in the wintertime. They have to be at work in Sioux Falls at 7 o'clock and then they want it plowed before then. Sometimes that just doesn't happen.
And on some township roads, it doesn't get plowed at all.
Well, that too.
What needs does your county have that AMC can assist with?
So say we need more transmission lines here.
Yeah. Obviously, ongoing training, they do a pretty good job with that, I think.
Yeah.
Similar to what we try to do is just try to get the legislature to do their job.
Right.
I guess I would add to that we just want AMC, and we mentioned this, I'm sure it'll come up Thursday, to be a good helper to us with our ARP funding and help us through this. Because it's a very complex
Right.
process here, what we can do, what we can't do, and there's things I'm sure we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
That we need, so make sure they're helping us with that too, with our ARP funding, so.
Especially if they keep changing the rules.
Exactly.
Steve, do you have the date of when the statewide AMC meeting is going to be for the people that can't make it? July or June something?
21st, I think. Yeah.
Is that what you got?
I don't have the exact time, but you can probably go on the AMC website. and-
On their website and find it. So.
Okay, well, if anyone thinks of anything else, just let us know, and we will see everyone in Slayton on Thursday. Kyle?
Good morning.
Morning.
I don't have a lot today. You should have all received the Minette Crayons Dam inspection by Area 2. And Carrie just wanted the board to see it and sign off on that. I don't know if you had any questions, concerns. Some of the repairs that are listed on there are kind of annual things. The outlet pipe caulking that needs to take place has been there for a number of years. The highway is planning to do it. They just haven't got around to that yet, so.
And they're gonna deal with that trash rack.
The trash guard it's kind of an ongoing pain. We've put it on several times and you get a high water and residue, or, debris in there, and then it pushes it off again, and you kind of got to get waders on or get in a boat to get into it sometimes, depending on the depth of water, so. And then we have Tom Sando do the spraying at the same time that he does the county ditch, so he's been doing the spraying up there too.
Somebody's gonna get rid of the debris, the 2x4s and the plastic barrel and all that.
Yeah, I would think that I forwarded this to Colin and to Nick so that they're aware of it also.
Okay. Guess I'd move for approval of the report.
I will second if nobody else has seconded yet.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
My audio fades in and out a little bit, so you might just have to repeat yourself a few times. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion or questions on the inspection report? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then the only other thing I've got, just to give you an update on, I did get a call from Novell. They were the ones proposing to do the DeRuyter Solar that we did a conditional use permit on. They notified me that there are issues and they are not intending to do that project due to Excel interconnect needs. So Excel basically came back with a response that it's going to cost more to upgrade the infrastructure to allow the solar to connect than it's probably going to be worth. So the conditional use will be recorded and stay with the property, but they're not intending to move forward with construction at this time.
Which one was this again?
This is the one up on County Road 10 southwest of Ruthven,
Okay.
about 2 miles west of 23.
Is it officially canceled or postponed, or don't know what the wording is?
Well, it sounded like, yeah, they weren't gonna, Excel didn't want it, so these companies are putting these proposals together, getting through the permitting processes prior to Excel really accepting the location. So they gotta get all of this work done, not knowing if it's gonna be accepted or not, so it's quite an undertaking to go through and then realize that, yeah, it's not gonna work.
Doesn't seem very fair for the people doing it, but
That's
Right.
right.
A lot of work.
Yeah. But there's a lot of projects out there statewide
yeah.
that are happening, so.
So is this like another capacity issue, really?
Probably not so much capacity because I think the generation from solar is used locally, so I mean, it's not being exported, but it's more of, my understanding was the infrastructure. So whether their lines were, I don't know what all that entailed, but.
We had some of those issues coming up on MEB, and like I said, there's a lot of projects that are out there that aren't gonna happen, and I guess this is one of them.
Right, yeah.
Partially because of transmission and partially because of the technology stuff. You can't get the physical stuff you need to do it.
Like a shortage of material.
Correct. We're finding that out in the farm industry too, that we're short of parts, and it's gonna get worse.
Seems like there'd be opportunity for people to start making some of this in our own country again.
It would appear so.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kyle.
Bill?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Bill.
So we have an opportunity to save some money on a purchase or to repurchase the appliance that we use to for security, internal security. If we don't expire now until January, and they came to us and said, hey, we'll give you a discount if you move ahead with this, and they won't bill us until our billing cycle next January 1st. This is a product we've been running since 2018, and this is the device that really watches what goes on inside our network, not like a firewall, but more like a tattletale, so to speak. And it's AI based, so it looks at everything that goes on our network, and it looks for what's normal. And it keeps a record of everything that's normal. And right now, we have about 170,000 different types of data transmission between our 150 devices that looks normal to it. And anytime there's an anomaly, it sends Bridget and I an alert right away. It says, hey, something's different here, something's going on, check out what this is. So when Sean comes to visit once a month, it finds Sean, because he does stuff that's out of the realm of normal. Since we've had this, I can credit one time where this has caught ransomware or alerted us to something going on that's different before it turned into something very bad. So the plan has been to move ahead with this, but we're speaking for budget that isn't set yet. This is a 4-year contract. The last one we had was 3. I wouldn't say that I couldn't live without this, but boy, this does make the job a lot easier, because it's like a set of eyes watching everything 24/7, and paying attention to these things that will give us actionable information at the time we need to know it. It's expensive. We've been paying about $1 per county constituent for this. In my eyes, that's expensive per year. The price has gone up a little bit, about $2,000 a year. So we're looking at $12,000 a year. But we're gonna save about $1,000 a year if we buy now. Any questions?
It certainly sounds cheaper than paying a ransomware or having a shutdown like JBS or Colonial Pipeline or whoever else around the country is.
They still could get us. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
they
there's
still-
no guarantees.
There's no guarantees, but this is maybe gonna give us some insight into something happening before it does happen.
When you mentioned the time that it did catch the ransom, I mean, how does that work? That it just can identify it and you're able to do something to prevent it? Or?
So what that time it told me, and this does happen from time to time, and it's not anything bad, but it said, hey, this device on your network is talking to someplace on the internet it's never talked to before. This is a really rare thing that it's doing. And it's a little different than, say, all the internet works on ports, than saying port 80, you Googled something and you went to their website. That's a lot different than say, hey, your device is actually connecting not on port 80 but on other ports, and it either looks like command and control, which is what this looked like, where there's already a bug on this device in here, and now it's making the connection out to somewhere else on the internet, saying, I'm here, now what do I do? Wait for instructions. So that's how this can inform us of what's going to happen before it happens.
So then do you have to take action yourself then?
We do. If we want to double this price, right, we could have them turn stuff off for us when it detects something that thinks happens. I think that's a hard sell right now. I think we can get to it in time, or I'd rather lose one PC than all of them. And I'm somewhat confident in the fact that we can get to stuff just by the way that these bad guys can't manage millions of ransomware attacks at a time. So what they do is they have some that where they're asking for the ransom and they've encrypted their stuff, and then they have a whole bunch that are ready to go. So when this one plays out and is done, then there's another one to start. Just like any business model, you can't have too much going on, right? So they may leave stuff dormant in your environment for, some people have said, quite some time. I mean, it can be years, but still these little things are going to say, they're going to reach out and say, okay, I'm waiting for you to tell me what to do. So those connections have to be made.
Mr. Chair, is that same program that you have up on a large screen in your office that we've seen before? Like where different things are coming? Or?
No,
Okay.
this is different. I can show you this too. This what you're referring to is just the active log of connections coming in and coming out. And since we've done our geofencing, we've kind of limited that a lot.
Okay. I've just seen all the measures that you've taken to try to keep our network safe and stuff like that. So.
Yep, this is part of that.
Yep, exactly. But considering that, I'll move for approval on this.
I'll support it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions?
Bill, don't you find that people are knocking on our door? I think you've used that terminology to me before. All the time, computers are trying to get into our system, and
When the geofence was down, as we had it here not too long ago for part of a night in order to do some remote support that just happened to have to come from India, it was 1,000 an hour, 1,000 knocks on the door an hour. You know, it used to be 1,000 a day. Now it's crept up enormously. And that's probably your home PC too. You know, people need to think about it that way as well.
Yeah, it almost seems like you can't do enough.
Yeah, you can't do enough.
I think at AMC meetings, we've heard from other counties too on how, the expenses that they've incurred, you know, from ransomwares and stuff like that. So
Right.
the remedies they have to take. So.
The notification expense, and then how do you get your stuff back, and paying a ransom, which I would not recommend anybody ever do. You're just encouraging the behavior.
Yeah, I saw a report on TV recently where the city of Atlanta was, I think they wanted like a 50,000 ransom, and yet they spent 20 million to not pay the ransom.
To get it back, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
who seconded the motion, please?
I did.
Thank you, Dallas.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I suggest we take a recess to
Yes.
verify the warrant so we can approve the consent?
Let's do that. Okay, we are back in session. We could go to committee reports. Dan, you want to start us off?
With that, I will do that. The month for me always starts with that first Thursday in the month, which is our Prime West. So both May 6th, and of course we just had one last week as well too, and I'll have Les join me with comments as well too. But basically, we're looking at going back to in-person meetings in August. We're not going to have our July meeting. We normally take one meeting off during the summer. Discussion that's been had about whether or not we can require employees to get immunized or not, and the jury is still out on that quite literally. There's a lot of discussion about the legalities that maybe Kathy can add to that discussion as well with what her knowledge of that is. And then also because of the very low immunization rate, there's been some discussion there, and also coming up at Southwest Health and Human Services about providing incentives for that. So there's been a lot of discussion with that, and no decision yet either. But other than that, for Prime West, it's been pretty much business as normal. During the pandemic, the Department of Health does not allow Prime West to drop any members. So because of that, we've actually got an inflated number of members at this time. And that also includes state payments. We've been receiving some more money for some members that are no longer really on the rolls. And we've been told that we will not have to pay that amount back once that moratorium is canceled out. Les, anything more you'd like to add to my Prime West report?
No, it pretty well covers it.
Okay. Then my next meeting then would have been on the 10th. Jody Wacker out at the library is presenting a program, and I'm sure you've seen it presented on We Are Water. So just a little bit of an update on We Are Water. That's the schedule of 4 events is getting put together for the summer. I don't have it off the top of my head right now. There'll be more information coming out on that. Kathy, I did forget to give you an opportunity, though. Would you share any opinions that you have got as far as from an HR standpoint on requiring employees to be immunized?
Right now, I don't have any opinions on it. I'm kind of waiting for other agencies to take the lead on that. So, as of right now, we're not touching the mandating vaccine issue.
Okay, thank you. Again, the audio's fading in and out a little bit, but I understood that you don't, as now, that you don't have any specific information on that.
And as
my next meeting then?
Yeah, as you said, there's just not any very solid opinions yet on it, so.
Okay, great. Thank you. Then on Tuesday the 13th, I had my Casey Jones meeting in the morning and also the Pipestone Area Coalition meeting in the afternoon. With Casey Jones, and again, as you're aware, next Monday will be our annual meeting. We're going to hold this one outdoors again, like we did 2 years ago with a burger feed. The burgers have been donated by JBS. They've been very generous with us in the past. We're going to do this over at the trailhead over in Lake Wilson. We've also received that sign. I think we talked about that sign before that we picked up in the cities last year. Mick Myers and I installed that sign over there, so that'll be part of the annual meeting is dedicating that sign and so forth. You're all certainly encouraged to come to that. We do have a little bit of a scheduling. It's a little bit of a tight schedule because that also, as you know, Monday the 14th is our Board of Equalization at 7 o'clock. Well, this meeting starts at 5, so it'll be a little bit tight, but I think Chris and I will be able to make both, and you guys are certainly welcome and encouraged to come as well, too. On the Alcohol Coalition, they're wrapping up, winding down the first grant that they had received on that, and there has been an additional grant that has been awarded, so they are going to be able to continue this program. And other than that, it's pretty much business as normal with that. Of course, it's been a little bit challenging with the students in and out of school from time to time with quarantines and so forth, and it's certainly restrict their activities, but they are proceeding with that program. The next one I had was on Friday the 14th, which would have been my Southwest Mel 18 Health Consortium. That's still via Zoom. I guess probably the same thing that you guys are finding with your Southwest mental health as well too. Workers are difficult to find, different programs, grants. It certainly is a daunting challenge that they do. Other than that, I have nothing specific to report about Southwest Mental Health Consortium. Then on the 17th, we had our SMOC board meeting. That was the last Zoom meeting that we're going to have. We're going back to in-person meetings. And also in the summer, we tend to rotate those around instead of always having in Worthington. So it was asked if Pipestone would host the first one coming up, and that will be 2 weeks from Monday. Then that'll be, I believe, the 21st. Also, we're going to have that one out at our Southwest Health and Human Services building. Part of the reason for having it there instead of at the EMS Center is to be able to show everybody where the new dental facility is being built as well, too. The dental facility, I forgot to mention that in my Prime West report. That was one of the things that they acknowledged with that and showed appreciation for the grant that Prime West had given for that. And as you know, that project is proceeding. Then on the 18th, we all had our governing board meeting for the hospital. On the 19th, we had a personnel committee meeting for Southwest Health and Human Services and also our normal health and human services meeting up in Marshall, our in-person meeting there. One of the items that came up with that was the and Chris, you probably be involved in this as well too, the Nurse Family Partnership. It's been, as you know, that program is for first-time mothers only. Income eligible, qualified for that. And there's another group that's trying to focus on mothers other than first-time mothers. So they also are in need of some guidance from time to time. So they're looking at expanding that program. There's some federal grants involved in that, so they're working on that. We don't know at this point if we're going to go into that or not. So that'll be discussed at our next Southwest Health Human Services meeting. Then on the 24th, over in Slayton, we had our Rural Minnesota Energy Board meeting. We had been invited to participate in the Midwest Governors Association meeting, trying to garner support for more transmission line, understanding the need of transmission line for our renewables. So we had an audience with the Midwest Governors. That was nice to have a little more voice there. Then Thursday the 27th, all of the board members had a hospital board meeting in regards to some staffing updates. That completes my report, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Dallas?
I'll start at the regular board meeting of May 11th. May 19th was Government 101 through AMC. They had two guys that did a presentation on county budgets. One was Kyle Oldray from Rock County and Bob Meyer from Blue Earth County. It was nice to have a local guy that presented. He did a very nice job. One of the things that the Blue Earth County guy said that they have a $1.5 million emergency fund, just labeled emergency fund, not budget reserves, but they got that enacted just in case they have a local emergency. And that seemed intriguing to me. I don't know if it's available or a possibility or not, but most of us figure on FEMA coming in if there's something, tornado comes through or whatever, but just something to think about. They're looking for a 4 to 6 month operating reserve, state mandated, you guys all know that. AMC, one thing that I found out that they can do that I didn't know of, they can tell if you open their emails and if you've read them by how long you've had it open. I thought that was intriguing. Maybe a little scary, but I thought that was intriguing. And we're one of 3,069 counties in the United States. May 24 was the meeting that Dan just referred to. Great River Energy was the one that did a lot of that presentation. They have 60% of the area in Minnesota and only 20% of the demand. So they have a lot of issues with transmission lines and upkeep and things like that. They said it's 8 to 13 years to get a new power line off the ground. And that seems like a long time, but I guess it does take that long. And they talked about MISO, M-I-S-O, that 15 states, it's kind of the central corridor. They need $10 to $30 billion long-term to upgrade their lines. That's a lot of money. Anybody is a lot of money. And they said the renewable isn't going to cut it for everything. There's got to be some resource stuff also, gas or coal. Lincoln Pipestone Rural Water also did a part of that presentation, and they were pushing for solar on their wellhead areas to use the land instead of just for grass. But if they're having issues getting hooked up with the ones that are available, I don't know how they would justify going in with more. It cost county something to do that board meeting, and no use doing it if it's not going to be. And May 24 was a fair board. Snake oil is coming to the fair. And they had one company offer to pay 2/3 of the cost of snake oil to get here. I don't know if that was taken advantage of or not, but they had an opportunity for an opening act. Callista Clark was her name. She was a country, up-and-coming country star, and we decided not to. I kind of thought that was a little short-sighted, but that's the way it is, I guess. And JCs are doing alcohol again. And for the donkey race, they need teams. I suppose they're advertising already. Have anybody seen it? You have to be 16 years old and higher and under 225 pounds. So the county commissioners are out on that.
Kill the thing.
That's enough of my report. A lot of other things were taken care of, just all the security and who does this and what does that. So it's going well. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I could, we still haven't approved the consent agenda.
Sure, we could do that.
I'll move for approval.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, moved and second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Sorry, didn't
And opposed, motion carries. Okay, we can probably go to Nick here any minute. Guessing he's just checking to see if the last bid came. And then I'll
I
finish
can
up.
give my report, it's short.
Okay, go ahead.
Danny, on the 6th, we had Prime West, and Dan has already talked about that. On the 10th, I had an executive meeting and plan ops at the hospital. And the plan ops part, we talked about at the governing board on the 18th. On the 12th, we had Southwest Mental Health, and do you remember, it was pretty much business as usual. There was nothing, any major topics. Then on 13th, we had Soil and Water. 19th, Hospital Board, Governing Board there. 19th, Southwest Health and Human Services, and Dan's he alluded to everything there. On the 24th, I participated in the CPT meeting, and the highlight of that meeting was, according to budget, our revenues are way higher and expenses are way lower. That was the highlight of that meeting. Then on the 26th, I had radio board, and that was pretty much business as usual, except for recognition of the Nobles County Sheriff that is retiring at the end of this month. So send them my report, short and sweet.
Okay,
Thank you.
it is 10:15, so can do the fuel bid opening. And Nick, we're ready.
All right.
See, you got two envelopes, that's a good sign.
Well, one's gas, one's diesel, so
Oh,
don't get too excited. But I can report that we do have two bids though, so it's always good to have some competition.
yep, that's good.
All right, so this is our fuel bid opening for second half fuel for this year. We have two bids. One is from Chandler Co-op, the other is from BioAg Energy. So the first one here is Chandler Co-op. This one is for gasoline. And their bid on the gasoline is $2.57 per gallon. It's $2.57 per gallon. And their margin is 12 cents per gallon. So $2.57 for the bid and 12 cents margin. Oh, and Dallas, maybe just to catch you up, how we do that is, if we run over quantity, that's what that margin bid is. They deliver the rest for their cost plus,
Plus,
yeah, plus that margin. So that would be their profit and delivery fees, so. All right, so then I'll move on to their diesel bid. All right. So the Chandler Co-op bid for B5 at Pipestone is $2.42 a gallon. B20 at Pipestone is $2.52 a gallon. B5 for the outlying shops is $2.52 a gallon. And the B20 for the outlying shops is $2.62 per gallon. The margin for the Pipestone shop is 12 cents per gallon. And the margin for the outlying shops is 22 cents per gallon. So to kind of recap in order there, B5 in Pipestone, $2.42 per gallon. B20 in Pipestone, $2.52 per gallon, with a margin of 12 cents. Then the outlying shops, B5, $2.52 per gallon, B20, $2.62 per gallon, with a margin of 22 cents. All right, next bid is BioAg Energy. All right. BioAg, their bid on gasoline is $2.63 per gallon with a margin of 0.4485. So $2.63 per gallon for gas in Pipestone with a margin of 0.4485. All right. So diesel fuel, B5 in Pipestone, their bid is $2.553 per gallon. 2.553. B20 in Pipestone, they bid the same, 2.553. Then B5 for the outlying shops, 2.693. B20 for the outlying shops, 2.693. Margin in Pipestone of 0.122. And a margin for the outlying shops of 0.262. So, in order off your bid sheet, their diesel bids are 2.553 for B5 in Pipestone, 2.553 for B20 in Pipestone, 0.122 for margin in Pipestone, 2.693 for B5 in the outlying shops, 2.693 for B20 in the outlying shops, and a margin of 0.262 for the outlying shops.
Nick, how often do you go over where we'll have to actually use the margin? Does that happen on average every year? Or?
I'm not sure. I don't know why, but I've never really looked into that. I guess we bid what we think it's gonna take. Sometimes it fluctuates a tanker, like if we're gonna, if we think we're gonna run out before the bid, we might end up with another tanker in, but,
Just the margin's kind of intriguing, the difference between the two bids.
it is, but their straight bid per gallon for Chandler Co-op is less, and they have the lesser margin, but yeah, that's quite the difference in the margin price there.
Like for B20, between the bids is only 3 cents, but then the margin is 12 cents a gallon for Chandler, but then 0.122 for BioAg.
So that would be 12.2 cents. It's always, I don't know why it's awkward for me reading that off, because it's, I don't, it's, I guess not how you typically talk with money, but.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chandler, the margin would be 0.12 and BioAg would be 0.122, so.
Okay.
They're just a hair higher on margin, but, they're a little over 3 cents a gallon higher.
Okay.
So, Chandler would be cheaper either way, but,
Right.
Yeah.
um,
Significantly in some
Actually,
cases.
Yeah. Up to 30 cents on some of the margins.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I'd make a motion that we approve the bid from Chandler Co-op.
I'll support that.
And we say that we can award this gas separate from diesel, and we can split the diesel apart too, but it looks like they're
In
cheaper.
this case, we'd be doing it across the board because
Yeah.
they're cheaper for everything.
So that would be my recommendation as well, so.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And thank you, Nick.
Yep.
Looks like it's still worth doing.
What's that?
I think it's still worth doing this.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to do it. It's the same language every year. We just update the quantities and the dates, so it's easy enough to do. And then if we don't like the prices, we just reject it.
Right, but I mean, obviously it's cheaper than going to the gas station.
Yeah, I didn't even look this morning. What's it at now?
$2.89.
$2.89. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think seems like we're definitely better off doing it, so.
And I'm sure it's gonna be that or more through Labor Day at least.
Yeah, I agree. I think so too. Yep, so. All right. Any other questions for me then? Otherwise, we'll go inform them that Chandler that they're a little bid. So,
Okay.
okay.
And we can move on to Chris, his committee reports.
On Monday, May 3rd, I had Nurse Family Partnership. They're doing great, financially sound. Reporting that they have several multi-year federal grants. So with Sibley joining the Joint Powers and getting all that state money with them too, their finance committee agreed to budget $100,000 less for each county contribution. And so that's twice now in the last 3 years that they've decreased our contributions. So
That's for all counties?
all counties in the JPA will get a $100,000 reduction. So, and I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but I think it was close to that last time we did that too. So that was, which is great, especially when the federal government's funding it. So, May 12th had Southwestern Mental Health. Last report on that really wasn't a whole lot. Business as usual. May 13th had Friends of the Casey Jones Trail. Dan covered that well. After he logged off, Deb went over images with like Google Earth and with pictometry and stuff like that. So we went over like the old railroad beds and what's going to happen afterward, because everyone's always been focused on what we're doing now, but where's it gonna go after, like, your Slayton and Curry and all that. So that was fun to be able to finally get a good visual representation rather than kind of guessing on who has what property and what. We're able to pull that up and see who the property lines and stuff, so that was really nice. Later that afternoon, had a SRDC meeting. Started off the meeting with it was an open meeting, so we could propose and accept the budget, which went without a hitch. Business as usual with them. Two things to really report on is they're reviewing 2 grants. One's for a really big one called the Walleye Wind Project in Rock County. Walleye Wind LLC is a subsidiary of Nextera, and they're trying to get a grant for 109.2 megawatt large wind facility conversion system in Rock County with up to 40 wind turbines that are between 2.32 and 2.82 megawatts each. All kinds of stuff that'll go along with it, infrastructure-wise and whatnot. The project area will encompass approximately 31,000 acres in Martin, Laverne, Beaver Creek, and Springwater townships. Upon completion, the project components will occupy approximately 49 acres of land, converted wind turbines. And then the other one was for City of Westbrook application for fire department PPE of $56,000. May 18th at the PCMC board meeting. May 24th had the safety committee meeting. We met at the EMS. Chad from Safe Assure was there. Had really good reports. As a county, we had excellent report on 3, I think, injuries in a year. That's really well. It's doing very well. Chad followed back after the meeting, gave Steve a little note that said his inspection reports were excellent, very few deficiencies, and it was the best county inspection he's ever been involved in. So I thought that was really, that says a lot right there. And then on the 27th, I had our PCMC staffing update via Zoom. That's all I had.
Okay. On the 13th at Soil and Water, several contracts were approved. Local work group meeting is scheduled for June 10th. Where they're going to tour the Pipestone water plant and a project on Indian Lake. On the 14th, we had the annual meeting for Highway 23 Coalition. Representative Michelle Fishbach spoke for a whole 5 minutes, primarily describing her lack of support for transportation projects. I couldn't believe when she admitted that while they're allowing earmarks again, she put in for 0 projects for her district. And then she had her staff just take questions from others for the rest of the time because she apparently had things that were more important to do. On the 18th, the hospital board met. On the 19th, we had the AMC legislative wrap, and I guess we're informed, of course, that they ended the legislative session on the 17th. They had accomplished nothing. They missed their budget deadline on the 28th. They missed their policy deadline on June 4th. The special session scheduled for the 14th. And I question whether they will get anything done there. So I guess we'll have to wait and see next Monday. But on the 21st, the AMC board met. They did get their building door access upgrades complete. They're working on the parking lot and the fencing. Strategic planning scheduled for August, and they're going to gather input from all commissioners at the district meetings, and I believe they emailed out a survey to everyone. So please take the time to fill that out. It doesn't take very long. And they also passed a resolution recognizing county staff's performance through the COVID-19 pandemic. On the 24th, the Regional Solid Waste Committee met. They're beginning the process to update their 10-year plan for the region. And Minnesota Rural Counties met later. They're still working on legislative issues and still sending letters to committee chairs, the governor, and others promoting rural issues. On the 26th, the ditch committee met. They plan on spraying the ditch, and they're going to be meeting to inventory bulkheads in need of maintenance or replacement prior to further clean-out efforts. On the 27th, we had that hospital staffing update. On the 2nd, had the AMC coffee, and then One Watershed, One Plan for the Missouri River, where we approved a new administrative agreement with Nobles SWCD, made some policy changes to stretch the funding as we move forward with the new round of funding. And of course, they're working on a number of projects. And yesterday at Area 2 in our CRCA, they're still waiting on one final MnDOT permit. Otherwise, they're ready to start the dredging project. We have easements for the laydown area and the pump station placement. And then after our meeting, we did tour the laydown area and the confined disposal area. And then I also attended the Berthoud City Council meeting last night. And that's all I have. There anything else to be brought up today?
I have a question about the Board of Adjustment Equalization. Is that gonna be Zoomed?
Yes.
Okay, then I will join via Zoom.
Yep, Joyce wanted that done Zoom, so that is on Zoom already. I'll send you the link.
We did that last year too, if I remember right.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people?
It varies,
Year to year.
usually not a lot, but sometimes.
Anywhere from I think the biggest we ever had was probably 9. The
Some-
smallest was 0.
Right,
The average is probably 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
Township ones too, were usually pretty low-key until somebody got mad and came. But
It's always interesting to see that, some come with great documentation, where we've had some where they'll have photos of, buildings falling apart or whatever, and, make a pretty good case.
Yeah, generally, if everything works right, it should be handled even before they get here, so just got
Right.
those up.
And sometimes it's just a case where something changed they didn't realize, or
Yep.
maybe a building got tore down or something. Okay, if there's nothing else, I guess we'd entertain a motion to
Just
adjourn.
a reminder, on the 29th, we have our cookout over at
Oh, yeah.
EMS. And also remember, July 1st,
Maybe one last thing on the Casey Jones, if you guys do decide to come to that, RSVP to Deb Nelson, so we've got a head count for meals, please.
Okay,
Will do.
where is the trailhead in Lake Wilson?
Right when you come into town, that first street that you can head north on.
Okay,
It goes to a dead end. Right at the dead end is right where that railroad bed is. There's all kinds of grass parking and whatnot. Eventually, they're gonna.
Next to the bus barn. It's right next to the bus barn up there.
okay. So first left and next to bus barn.
I will be out of town, Dan, so I will not be there.
Okay?
I might
very good.
try to make it. Maybe Nell and I'll run over and check it out.
Free burger.
Be something to do before the equalization, I guess. I got something else that day too. Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Did you say something about July 1st, Steve?
Yeah, what's going on July 1st?
Oh, July 1st, according to state statute, we'll go back to normal meetings.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm,
So everything, no Zoom anymore.
right.
So, City Council in Pipestone already started that with this meeting. They just had Monday night. They've gone back to meeting in person now too, so.
Of course, we've met in person throughout.
What's that?
We've met in person throughout.
Yes, we have.
One of the few counties.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I guess with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Move in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. We'll see you later, Dan.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
You bet. Have fun on your vacation.
Mine says 10:30.
I will do that.
These are wrong again.
Steve, what time are we having that cookout again?
What's that?
What time's that cookout? 11 or 10 or?
11:30 to 1:30.